Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma Lefebvre and I feel like I haven't painted my loose florals in a while and I'm itching to use some fall colors to do so. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. But before we do, I just wanna send out another quick reminder. There are still some spots available left for my watercolor retreat in France. If you come with me, we are going to be learning all of these loose florals in person. You can ask all the questions. I'm going to show you how to look at actual flowers and then put them on paper in a beautiful and loose and detailed way. It's going to be an amazing time. Please look in the description below if you want more details on the trip. It's going to be wonderful. All right, let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, so today I wanted to paint some loose fall florals. I think I'm just gonna fill up the page with kind of like this cascading bouquet type thing. I haven't done loose florals in what feels like a long time. So today I thought I'd just let you watch as I kind of do my thing and I'll try to explain the best I can. So I'm painting in my Etcher Lab Cold Press Watercolor Sketchbook. This is the Perfect Sketchbook. That's the name of it. And I have my Shinhan watercolor paints. I have a bunch of different brushes here, round brushes. I have my flat brush. We're just gonna kind of play around and see where I go with this. But I just wanna paint some loose florals using a beautiful kind of fall palette. So I'm going to start with my size 12 brush and I'm going to create like an orange color. So I'm just going to grab some yellow. And there, as you can see, my palette's pretty dirty, right? I have all these different colors in there. I'm okay with that because if this turns out to be a bit more on, you know, the muted kind of muddy side, I don't mind. Fall colors tend to have that muted, muddy undertone to some of the colors. So I actually think it works quite well for this. So that doesn't bug me to have a clean palette. But if you want to make sure yours is nice and clean, definitely do that. Okay, I'm going to start with some like orange roses. And I'm going to just start over here. And I'm just going to play around with some loose shapes, trying to leave some white space. I don't even know really what I'm doing today. I'm just want to lay down some shapes and kind of have fun with a loose floral bouquet. So I'm just making sure I'm leaving a lot of white space to get the difference in the petals. I'm going to add a little bit of red, maybe even a little bit of burnt sienna. Tap it in there just to get a bit of a darker color. This isn't even really a rose. I don't know what kind of flower this is, but just doing some petal shapes. Okay, I'm gonna do another one kind of over here, maybe just like more of a side view. Have some like a squiggly middle over here. Also want to try and have different values. So I'm going to try and go a little bit lighter with my color here, just adding a bit more water to my brush. Then going back in with some of that dark burnt sienna, a little bit of red, like so. Then I want to get some nice like purpley plum in there. So I'm going to grab some pink, or actually maybe more red, and then a bunch of my dark kind of dioxazine purple. And I'm going to go in between and add these rich kind of dark purpley colors. I'm going to try and do like this, like a mum kind of shape. So just these little strokes with lots of white space in between. To create the illusion of these tiny little petals. Like so. I'm going to do another one, maybe down here. A little bit more paint in there. And I'm just using the tip of my brush to create these petal shapes. This kind of just goes to show you that you don't even really need to create like intense petals, like where they look exactly like a flower. Just do these like little shapes, these little strokes to kind of give off the look of a flower. Like so. Okay, and then I think I want to do, want a little bit more of like a cherry purple. I'm gonna have one kind of down here too. So a bit more on the red side. And we can do some smaller, more dense ones so they're not as piecey like that. That also just kind of helps with the contrast of shapes. So I'm just doing like these little petals. So they're not as, they're just trying to break up the different shapes of that I'm using for some of these flowers, just so they look, they have that nice contrast to them. They're not all the same. It's kind of like their side views. Like that. Okay. So I like to place in my bigger flowers first, and then I like to start adding in the foliage and some leaves. I think I also want to add like a dusty blue into this. So for that, I'm going to grab some ultramarine. And then like a little bit of red. Like that. Maybe a bit more on the orangey side, so a little bit of yellow. I think I need a bit more of a, there we go, like a phthalo blue for this. And then a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red. There we go. I want the smoky kind of blue, and I want to do these like little, what are they called? Like berries. So I'm just doing these tiny little stems and then these round berries kind of coming off of them. Like that. You can have little kind of lines coming off the top of the berries. I'm going to try and go back in with a little bit more color. Yellow, red. Oops, and that's kind of like black. I need more blue in here. A little bit more red too. And just make parts of it darker. Just tapping in. Like that. And then I want to kind of place some maybe up here. That. A little bit darker. And then down here too. Like that. I like it. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna start adding in some greenery. So for my green, I kind of want more like the sagey color. So I'm gonna grab my olive green. I'm actually gonna tone it down with the blue, dusty blue color we kind of had here. Maybe make it a bit more on the blue side, or even a little bit of purple. I want it to be a cooler green. So I'm adding a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue. Okay, and I'm just gonna start filling in some of these spots. I'm doing some longer petals, leaves. Going behind some of these berries. I think something that would have really balanced this color palette out a bit better would have had a light flower, like a really light dusty rose or something. Could have elevated this color palette a bit better. I feel like it's all kind of a bit bright, but that's okay. I'm just going really loose with this greenery. Can have some leaves kind of folding. I think I want some brown in there too, some burnt umber. Or not burnt umber, burnt sienna, to warm up some of the leaves. Just kind of placing them in between some of the greenery. You can have like a stem with a bunch of the green kind of coming, or the brown kind of coming off of it. I actually like the color, or the addition of the burnt sienna to this color palette. I think that looks really nice. There we go. So if you wanted to add a little bit more to, you know, some of the roses, just kind of defining maybe like the centers a little bit, you can do that after it's dry. So here I'm just taking my burnt sienna, just kind of going around the center, just creating a little bit more definition. It's totally up to you though if you want to do that or not. I kind of like the way that looks. You can add, you know, just like some shadow lines just of where some of the petals would maybe have like a little bit of creases to them, or whatever you want. Same thing with the darker plum colors too, if you want to, you know, add a little bit more definition to some of these. It doesn't even have to completely make sense. Like just adding that extra contrast of a darker value of the color sometimes really helps. But again, it kind of goes with whatever look you want to have to your florals. And then some of those leaves, you can always add another, you know, maybe even some lines if you want, some shadow. Just play around and see what kind of look you like the best. There you go, though. So there is my fall-esque loose floral painting. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.